there's an interesting kind of adjunct to this story about whether kids today are too mollycoddled, because there's another story in the paper about this student in Salford. She's married, she's 32 years old, and the council have said that she weighs 21 stone, and they've said she's too fat to foster children. And one of the reasons they're giving is that she's not mobile enough to be with them all the time. Now, when I read that story, I thought, oh, it's really cruel, it's sizist and everything else. But when I think about it, when you look at the mobility of kids today, you know, they really run fast at 3, 4. You've got to keep up with them. And I mean, I know from experience as a child, because I ran under a motorbike, you know, maybe they've got a point.
But then your mum didn't. You know, the point is your mum didn't catch you, and she wasn't overweight. So things happen, whether you're fat, thin, short, you know, tall. And I think that that's very harsh when it's fostering. And I just think, what would you rather have? A child in a loving home with a woman who is overweight and doesn't deny being overweight, but there is something she could do about that, or have them in a care home? You know, I know which one I would choose. I'd go for that woman every single time.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there's just no discussion for me. If it's the choice between whether you're in a home or you're in a home with a family, it would absolutely have to be every time. I mean, you know, where would we draw the line? Will we eventually say that if you are this much overweight, you can't have children?
Well, exactly. I mean,
what about if you smoke?
No, but the thing is, at the end of the day, the council have, you know, they have to make a decision, and I'm sure they have got a checklist, and they are trying to find the perfect home for that child, and I just think they can't win either way. No, not necessarily, but if they can, you know, if it's obvious that there's a problem in their eyes, which obviously that is, I'm not saying I agree with them or disagree with them, but I understand they have, you know, if they placed a child with that lady and something happened, people then would be screaming, well, she couldn't run after it, or she you know, they could fall in love with that woman as their mother, and because of her health being overweight, and I'm speaking as an overweight person, you know, she has a heart attack or blood pressure or... You know what I mean? I understand that they've got a hard job, because if they place the child in the wrong home, it's the hardest job in the world. They can never win the council.
Say you have your own child. I mean, I believe that this woman, Zoe Young, she's called, can't have her own children, which is very difficult. So, you know, a longing for a child, and she was hopefully would give a child a home. But say you had your own children. Say you had your own children, you're not overweight, and then you become very overweight. But then you can't look after your children. So is somebody then going to come and say, sorry, we're going to have to take that child away now because you're not capable of running around after them?
No, but I bet then if I wanted to become a foster parent, they'd say no. They can't physically take my own children away, but they can stop me fostering.
Being a smoker? You smoke and you've got children.
Yeah, and if one of the rules is, which I think it is, you can't smoke if you foster, then I agree with that, and I'm a smoker. It doesn't make me a bad mom, but what I'm saying is sometimes they have to make a decision based on what they've got, and if they can find a family that aren't smokers, aren't overweight, yes, that woman could be a fantastic mother, but also it could be to do with the age of the child she wants. If she wants a baby,
why don't you have a child? They could, you know, if the child's older. I mean, they don't run around as we're always talking here about how they don't run around.
Well, she probably does want, but she can't have children, so she wants a baby.
Yeah, well, I think too many people want to foster younger children, whereas the children who really need help, teenagers and children 7, 10, 11, 12 years old. Yeah. You know, everybody always wants a baby because there's that attractive idea that you can mould the baby the way you want. And I think you've got to get away from that.
Also, it's very challenging to take on an older child. That's not.
But also, they are crying out for foster parents. They have ad campaigns all the time. So you go, you know, you're never going to find perfect people, are you?
Obviously.
But it is an interesting one.
If you thought that got heated, wait until you watch these and click here to subscribe. You may as well. It's totally free.